Welcome to Laughing Trails Podcast, where adventure meets the absurdity and mischief of a life well lived. Our intention is to break barriers and rattle the tree of possibilities, to explore what beauty might open up when we dare to live outside the box, while we also share accessibility tidbits about our adventures. Remember, we are only two voices in a greater community. And therefore, we are only responsible for our own adventures. We are not responsible for yours. So, have what you need on the trail. This episode is sponsored by Barton Cutter Coaching. If you are looking to discover your path or even bushwhack, that's quite a word, isn't it? Bushwhack, your own trail in this wild world, reach out to Barton directly at bartoncutter.com to learn more. If you laugh along the way, and there are quite a few laughs, please subscribe and write a review. It will help our voices be more visible in the world. And with that, we will get started. I think today we wanted to share our first adventure, outside adventure in Colorado at Wonderland Lake.
This was back in November of 2022. We had just landed here. We'd been in town less than a week, and we barely even had our furniture, and we were dying to get outside and see what this place had to offer.
I know before we even arrived, we had found the Boulder Accessible Trail Guide, and I was so excited to see the different trails and the different places where we could go because we had not really hiked outside in the way that we had wanted to. So it seemed like a perfect experience and place to start. I really thought that when we arrived, we would just hibernate for the entire winter season. I had planned to just unpack and focus on the move.
Yeah, it was November. Megan for Atlanta. She doesn't
Yet
know
again,
what to
Martin.
do. And
Oh,
remember,
I'm from uh,
Megan,
I'm from
Megan,
Atlanta.
uh, she doesn't know what to do. So,
No, I don't know what to do with snow. I probably saw snow twice when I lived in Atlanta, and one of them I was in the hospital for asthma and went in the hospital the day it started snowing, and it stopped snowing and how it melted when I got out. So maybe only one time.
uh, and of course, we got a little bit of snow in Raleigh, but that was really more ice than snow.
And they say in Colorado that it will snow and then be sunny and melt the day or two after. And that's really true. Like there is really maybe only a couple of weeks in the winter season where we really can't get out at all.
Uh, uh, so, anyway, all that to say, we had been in town less than a week, and we really wanted to get out and play. So we picked up this guide and before we pick a trail, we, well, especially when we look at the weather and try to figure out how the roads are because making and snow in the car don't mix.
Yeah, I'm not very fond of driving in the snow anywhere, much less accessible van.
So anyway, on this particular day, it happened to be bright and sunny, even though uh, it was below freezing, I think, at least where we ended up, there was ice on the water. So, um, so we we ended up deciding to try Wonderland Lake. Um, it's about a mile and a half walk around the lake and beautiful trail right at the foothills um uh, underneath the flowers and it was just absolutely beautiful.
The trail itself is about a quarter of a mile in, and it's really open. There's not a lot of trees around on that first quarter mile until you get to the lake. And then there's quite a number of trees and wildlife around the lake as well. And when we walk around the lake, there are different types of ground surface. So there's dirt, gravel trail. There's a sidewalk that goes around the back side of the lake and into a park area. And then further, there's actually you exit the trail and go up the sidewalk of a neighborhood. So it's a neighborhood sidewalk, and then go back on the trail, and it's a dirt trail around the rest of the way. So there's different types of ground surface areas.
And most of the dirt and gravel is very compact. So it's pretty easy and a power chair. Um, and my guess is, with the exception of one spot, it's probably pretty manageable in a manual as well.
And can you talk about the difference between your old power chair and the new one, the one you have now?
Yeah, so, so this first time we were there, I was still in my previous chair, which was supposed to be designed for off-road stuff. However, I, I would say that was false advertising because it did not do well on fairly simple off-road terrain like gravel. Um, I was able to make my way around most of the lake without issue, except there was one part of the trail that had a steep incline for maybe 7 or 8 feet, and Megan didn't need to give me a hand with that one, um, with my new channel. That's not a problem at all. So, yeah. So, I tend to leave her in the dust. The,
If for me being behind you when you were in your old chair, I was huffing and puffing, helping you push up the hill to get over some of the hard bumps and things. And with your new wheelchair, you really left me in the dust. And I was trying to keep up with you, and I sounded like Darth Vader. Like huffing and puffing to try to keep up with you. We have some really funny B-roll footage of that we'll put on our Patreon
yeah,
site. It's worth to listen to it just for the sound effects alone.
yes. Huh. Um, but anyway, back to that first picture out there. So, Megan talked about the path around the lake, but sorry, that's our dog. She's a 2-year husky and very loud. So apologies. Um, um, Megan talked about the trail around the lake, but that first day we found a, a path out to this little peninsula that, that goes out into the lake, maybe 15 or 20 feet. And I remember going there and getting comfy, and there was something about the sun that warmed my body, even though it was pretty chilly, and we were staring at the flat iron, and my whole body relaxed, and I just had this overwhelming sense that we found home, and I, I, I don't know that I've ever had that feeling, that instant ever before.
And for me, I had a very similar feeling of sitting down on the ground beside you, looking at the lake and the sun on the water. There was still snow capped on some of the mountains further back, and just feeling like I had arrived in this place. And arriving in a new place is such a fun and exciting experience because anything becomes possible. There's no preconceived notions, no judgments. And it was just sitting there, being in full presence with you and having this moment of going, we've arrived in this state, in this place, and feeling the spark and excitement that it really bring and bubbled up inside.
I love what you're saying about not having any preconceptions. Um, I, I remember several of our conversations that day and that first several months evolved. Well, because we can be anyone here. Who is it that we want to be? And what does it mean to create a new identity or transform what we perceive as originated from before?
Yeah, and there's such freedom in that, in being able to create and just like, who do we want to be in this space? What is this space bringing up for us? And how do we want to step into it? There's so much energy in that level of creation.
Uh,
Yeah.
and dare I say, it hasn't stopped since that first
No.
conversation.
we, we've had lots of places where we can recreate who we are here and step into a new hike or new trail and find something new that's exciting.
And there are places like Wonderland that we just love so much. We keep finding ourselves back there time and time again.
Yes, that's so true that we it's one of the places we really love to go back to. I know when I've gone a couple of times without you, there is a non-accessible paragliding trail that I have climbed a couple of times. I haven't made it the entire way to the top yet because it was sunny and hot and I really needed to take breaks, but
Mhm.
it was incredible to turn around and to see how far up I was and how far out like I could see like just for miles and miles. It was pretty amazing experience.
Yeah, and that's one of the ones that runs up the one of the foothills that's right there. So it's not even like it's a big mountain.
Right.
And maybe 7 or 8,000 feet, but compared to other places that are between 9 and 14, it's not that, it's not that big.
Not that big. It's important to recognize the land. So the land that we were standing on historically has we recognize the Ute tribe, the Arapaho tribe, and the Southern Cheyenne tribe. And there are other tribes as well. I think Colorado is historically lends itself to inviting many peoples to live and walk and be on the land, and to sit there that first time, especially, and recognize that we were in a different place with a lot of history was just a very profound experience.
Mm,
So,
it
talk
was.
about Wonderland like being in the winter time.
Oh yeah. So this past January, I I ended up getting to go out there with a bunch of friends. Um, Megan was not with us, uh, and it had it had snowed the day before, so there was still about 6 inches on the ground, and I was not expecting to get very far. However, people use the trail enough that the snow had gotten packed well enough that my chair could make way, make its way around the tank. But I did use a lot of help from my friends. Some, um, some, some of the muscles from the big guys that was with us. Um, but once again, I was surprised by the ability to even do that with help. Um, because I'm used to having snow trap me inside and, we limit experience. But the stay was awesome because um, the group of friends were just found fun in, in trying to haul my butt around the trail. It was really fun. Um, and of course, when there's a big challenge like that, bonds are made and relationships deepen. And it was just a wonderful experience.
Yeah, I'm just glad I'm not the one who had to bail you out of the snow that day.
Oh, I trust somebody on the time.
Oh, I'm sure there will be.
Don't, don't worry.
One of the things I learned after that experience was how to pack a backpack, which I know doesn't sound very glamorous or exciting, but the first few times we were out, I wanted to literally pack everything in the sun. Like, let's be prepared for it all. So I would spend like 30 minutes trying to
At least
pack.
more like an hour.
But we learned very quickly what are the essentials for Wonderland Lake. making sure you have a bottle of water is an absolute must because it can get toasty during the day, and having some kind of shade. So whether it's sunscreen, a hat, or a sun umbrella, just something to make sure if you do get hot, you have somewhere to cool off.
And that's true even in the winter. Mm.
Yes. Yeah, that's so true even in the winter. Yeah.
Because remember, if you're not from here, this whole area is at least 5,000 feet. Wonderland is probably 5,500. Um, where we live is 5 point. So, so it's a lot drier here than we were used to, especially Megan. And yes, I keep ragging on you because
Oh,
this is her first time living anywhere outside the Southeast.
that is true, and I have learned a lot since arriving here of how to live and walk and hike in Colorado or out west is very different than 99% humidity and rain.
Oh, what else do we want to tell about for Wonderland?
Well, I've loved seeing some of the water birds. There's a lot of geese that frequent Wonderland, and birds as well. I've seen a crane there, and then there is a blackbird that tends to dive in and out of the cattails. So I have taken my big camera because I love taking pictures of the mountains and the scenery and the wildlife as well.
Yeah, yeah. You love the wildlife. I love the mountains. And as we mentioned, if you look south from Wonderland, there is this beautiful view of the Flatirons. Mm.
Oh, and there's deer as well. That hike I went to on the paragliding trail, that morning there was deer out, but it was fairly early in the morning. I think it gets a bit warm in the afternoon.
And do you know what kind of deer they were?
I don't. That's something we'll have to look at.
Huh. I know there are mules here around, but I don't know if there are other
I'm sure there are different
kinds.
kinds of deer. That's something for us to explore.
Yeah. And later, so other episodes will tell you about some careful and how that we run into other places.
But I think Wonderland was a great like first spot to dip our feet onto because it wasn't very strenuous, pretty flat except for those hills. And if you're headed up the paragliding hill, that is a bit more strenuous. It has a steeper incline, but it was a really good first spot to land. And I really felt since that time, like every time we go back, it just brings out this like enlightened spirit that has really opened my heart.
Uh, and and for the first year and a half, I, I was only able to do the bottom part because my wheelchair wasn't so after I got this new one that I could take off one of the offshoots and go up part of the way that maybe was talking about to get some views from a higher elevation.
Yeah, I can't wait to go back and do a couple more of those inclines, see what your new wheelchair can do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think this concludes our episode for today. It is my turn for the post ramble. So, for video descriptions, um, Barton Cutter is a white male with, what did we decide? Your hair was regal, kind of salt and pepper, um,
Very thin.
and very thin. Barton's showing off his hairline there. Um, and a gray long sleeve shirt with a dark navy jacket on that is white on the inside. And Barton is sitting in our living room with white walls behind him, and our porch door is open today because it's nice and sunny. I am today, this is Megan Cutter, and I am a white female. Oh, and I'm sorry, Barton is using a motorized wheelchair today. So I am Megan Cutter, and I am a white female. I have brown hair that I have in clips today, and brown eyes. I am wearing glasses and hearing aids with sparkly blue glitter on them. I am wearing a light blue shirt, and behind me there is a bookcase and a painting with trees and the sun. And then with us, we have our ASL interpreter, Ginny Moorfield, who is a white woman who has red hair and brown eyes and is wearing glasses today. And she is also wearing a purple or maroon long sleeve shirt. Awesome.
For example,
Post ramble. We hope that our adventures have stirred your own hunger for life, whether laughter, tears, joy, or in community with others. We want to share our deep appreciation to Jenny Moorfield for ASL interpretation on video and Shane Dittmar for music. You can find more of our creative explorations at laughingtrails.com. Subscribe to our Patreon for bloopers. I'm sure there are many of them. On-site videos, so we'll post some video of Wonderland as well as some pictures as well, and other creative treats. Inclusive formats include audio podcast, video with ASL interpretation, and written transcription. And we are still figuring it out, but I think all three formats are on our website now.
yes, I certainly hope so. If not, feel free to reach out and let us know.
And a special thank you to today's sponsor, Barton Cutter Coaching at bartoncutter.com. And we can't forget that our little husky Tundra made an appearance behind Barton as well as an audio appearance today because she really wants to be part of the podcast too. We have limited editing as we're still figuring things out. And why would you want to edit life out anyway? That's the fun part, especially when you can hear husky howls behind you. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.